Hello everyone, hope you are doing fine. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to dive into an important concept in Python by name variables. In this video, we'll touch upon variables, understanding how to store and manage the data in Python, data types, exploring different types of data such as numbers, strings and booleans, typecasting, converting one data type into another one, and some string operation, exploring the string functions to manipulate the strings and to work with the strings. Let's get started. In any programming language, variables are the placeholders in the memory used to store the data. Each variable has a unique name, allowing us to save, retrieve and modify the stored data. For an analogy, you can think variable as a labeled jar. In this example, we have two jars. One is labeled as name, another one is labeled as age. Here the jar labeled as name stores the value testtrue, whereas the jar labeled as an age stores the number 35. So in order to retrieve the value testtrue, you have to use a label name. In order to retrieve the age value, which is 35, you have to use the label age. Here name and age represents the variable, whereas testtrue and 35 represents the value that is stored in these variables. So another key characteristics of the variable is that its value can be changed throughout the program execution, which is in contrast to the constants whose values remains constant throughout the program execution. For example, in case of mathematics, we use a symbol as a pi. The value of the pi cannot be changed at all. It is a fixed values. So this can be categorized as a constant whose value cannot be changed throughout the execution of the program. Whereas the value of the variable can be changed throughout the execution of the program. The area of circle is pi r square. The pi is a constant here, but r is changeable. If the value of the r changes, then the area is also changes. So if you store the area in a variable for a different values of r, the value of the area changes. So this indicates that the variable, the value that is stored in the variable can be changed throughout the execution of the program. Now let us try to understand what are data types. Data types are the types of data that are supported by the programming language. Python supports wide range of data types that are categorized into basic or primitive data type and advanced or non-primitive data types. Numbers, strings, boolean and none are part of basic primitive data types, and under numbers you can have the whole number, which is called as an integer, or an float, which is a decimal number. Let us try to understand the numbers in Python. Let's start with integer. I'll try to create a variable as number of people equals to 6. So number of peoples cannot be a decimal number, so it's an integer. I have assigned the whole number here. If you want to print that, you can use the keyword print and then you can give the variable name. Let us try to execute this program, and you see on the console you can see 6 here. Similarly, you can also define a float like the price of banana, that is equal to 2.5. Okay, it can be 2.5 euros, and now try to print it. And try to execute this, it should print 2.5. Okay, so the whole numbers are the integers and the decimals are called as float, and you can perform lot of operations with the number, like when you add them, you can perform the division, you can perform the multiplication. All these things we will cover in the next session, where I will try to explain you about the operations. String is another basic data type used in Python. it is basically nothing but the sequence of characters. Okay, so in this example I have assigned the variable name with test true. Okay, with the value as a test true. Let us go and try. So here I am creating a variable called name of the channel. The value for it is a test row, which is basically a sequence of characters. So I can try to print name of channel. I will delete of this. It should print me the test row. And if I want to print only the first letter T, then I have to use the index, because it is a sequence of character. The index of the sequence starts with 0. So if I try to print name of the channel with the index is always put in the square bracket, and if you put it as 0, that will print the first character in the string. If you see, it printed T. If you want E, then you will have to give the index as 1. So this is how the string is stored in a memory. It is stored as a sequence of characters. So you can access each character with the help of the variable name with an index, along with the index. Remember that index is always starts with 0. A none type variable is a variable that has been assigned the value none, which represent the absence of a value or a null value. The null keyword in Python is a way of indicating nothing or no value. Okay, let us go and try to use this. I will copy here and I will remove this and use this. It is a built-in keyword in Python, none. That is why it is been highlighted with a color here. Okay, so let us try to use print statement and try to print the results. Let us try to execute this. You see, it has printed none. So it is a way in Python to indicate there is nothing or a null value. So these are the basic data types that are used in Python: numbers, strings, boolean, and none. Under numbers you have integer and float. The advanced or a non-primitive data type that are supported in Python are the list. Lists are ordered mutable collection of elements. Here each elements are enclosed within the square bracket separated by the commas, and it is an ordered list and it is also mutable. That means once you create it, you can change it at any time. Tuples are the ordered immutable collection of elements. Here each elements are enclosed within the brackets separated by the commas, and also it is an immutable. That means once you create the tuple, you cannot change its value. The range basically generates a sequence of number starting from the starting point to the end point. Here it will generate a number from 1 till 5. That is the last digit minus the 1. So and you can also give in between, also give the separators. For example, if I tell from 2 to 8 with 2, then it will generate a number as 2, 4, 6, 8. So you can also add one more parameter in between that tells the steps basically. Sets are unordered unique collection of elements. These are similar to list, but they are unordered. But the difference between the list and set are these are the unique collection. So the list can have the duplicate values. I can write NL, IND, Germany, and again I can type NL here. But while try to print, it will print NL, IND, Germany, and NL. Whereas I can create a set with NL, IND, Germany, comma NL. But while I try to print a set, it will discard the duplicates. It will only print the unique values. So another type of data type that are supported is dictionary. Dictionary is basically a key value pair. it will have a key associated with an value. The first one is a key, then you have a colon, then it will have an values. So these are the different types of data types that are supported in Python. Python provides a special variable by the name type, using which you can identify the type of given variable. Let us try to use this function. Let us try to create a few variables. For example, number equal to 10, then float number equals to 10.5, string variable equal to testing, then result equal to none. Now we'll try to use the function. I will try to print a type of a variable using the function type. Type takes one parameter, that is the variable name. Let us try to paste this. Here we use float number, you use string, and here we use result. Now let us try to execute this. You see, it basically prints the type of the variable. In the first case, it printed the class as an integer. For the second variable, it is a float. Third variable, it is a string, and fourth variable, it is of none type. This is how we can use this type function in order to identify the type of a given variable. In some cases, in a bigger program, there is a tendency that you forget the type of the variable. In such cases, if for a debugging purpose, if you want to understand the type of a given variable, you can use the type function. Let's focus on typecasting. Typecasting is a process of converting one data type into another. Let's try typecasting. I will take from this example, I will copy this. I will go to PyCharm. Here we have three variables, and if you see, x is a variable of type string because it is storing a number within a double quotes. If you put anything within double quotes, that is considered as string. And if you see, y is a decimal number, so it's a float, and z is again an string. So if you have a confusion and if you don't know the type of x, so for a normal eye, it looks like a number, but in reality, it is the 10 is enclosed within double quotes. It is a string. If you have a confusion, we can use the type function print, then type of x. Right? Let us try to execute this. If you see here, x is of type string. Okay. So in order to convert the string into integer, then you have to use a function called int. Okay. Let us try this. X has a number is equal to integer of x. This basically converts the 10 into a number which is a string here, right? So let us try to print number and also try to print type of number. So it's converted x into x number of type integer, and if you try to print the type, it is an integer. This is how you can convert a string, okay, which is basically carrying a number into an integer. Okay, similarly, you can also convert y. Directly we can give it as y here. So if you try to print, it will only print the whole number. It will omit the 0.8 because integer can hold only the full number, whole number. If you see, it holds only 2 and it is of type integer. And if you see here, z is a variable of type string, right? It is a variable of type string, but it is a sequence of characters, right? It's an array of characters. It does not contain any number inside. In such cases, if you try to convert this string into a number, it will throw an error, right? It will throw an error because it cannot find any number within this particular string. So it basically should show an error. If you see here, so there is a value error. It is telling that invalid literal for an int with the base 10. So it is always expecting something as a number. If you have something as a number that is of type string, then you can convert that back into an integer or into a float. If it is string is a sequence of characters other than the numbers, right? It is not of a type number. It is a purely carrying the other characters. Then basically you cannot convert a string into an integer or a float. It will basically throw you an error. Similarly, you can convert any string or any integer into a float. If you take x equal to 10.5, which is of type number, basically it stores a number, right? It converts into, when you try to typecast using the float, then it will try to print 10.5. Okay, so we can take this as an example, and you can come here. So let us so x as float, then you can use float of x, and then we can also print a type of x float. Yeah, it basically should print you 10.5 because even though it is a string, its string contains a decimal number, right? So the conversion should be easy, it should be possible, right? So yeah, we missed printing x float. You can see it is of type float and the number is 10.5. Similarly, I have an integer y equal to 5. When I try to convert this y into a float, what you can expect is it will not print 5 as such, it will print 5.0 because this is a decimal format, right? So always it will try to print a number in a decimal format. Let us try to execute this, and you see it printed 5.0 because the float is always a decimal and the type is float. Similarly, you can convert an integer and float into a string. If you want to try, we can try this example. We can copy paste here, and instead of x float, you can put it as string, and the function that we use is str, and this should be x string and this should be x string. So basically we are trying to convert x into a string. Let's try to execute this. You see, and it printed a number. It looks like a number, but it is basically a string because it is stored within a string variable. Similarly, you can also convert a float into a string. So it prints 5.5, but it is of type string. This is how, using the typecasting, you can convert the variable of one data type into another data type. Python provides a lot of functions to work with strings. Let us explore one by one. Before we dive in, let us try to understand what string is. String is a sequence of characters stored consecutively in a memory, making it easy to access individual character using an index. In Python, there are two types of indexing. One is called as a positive indexing, which is always starts from 0 and forward. Another one is called as a negative index, which is starts with -1 and goes backward. It comes backward. So using which we can access each character that is stored within a string. So there are two important functionalities that we can explore here. One is called as an indexing, that is accessing each character in a string using an index. Second one is called as a slicing, that means extracting a part of a string. For example, in this case, hello test troop, if you want to extract only hello from this string, you can use this the method of slicing to get that particular word from a given string. Let us go and try to use this. I'll just copy this. I'll clear this. For example, if I want to access a character O, then I can do this using print s square bracket and index starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try to print this. You see, it extracted O, and if I want a comma, this is at number 5. Okay, this is how basically we can extract each character from a string using the positive index. That means starting from H, you can go up to the end of the string. And if you want to extract the characters from the end of the string and going to forward, that is can be done using the negative indexing. Let us try to use -1. This will print the last character. You see, it printed a last character. If you want to access P, then it is -2. It is -2. This is how basically you can access each character using the indexing. For example, if you want to extract a substring from a string, which is called as in slicing, so you can do via the indexing. For example, the index should start from 0, that is from here, and it has to go up to this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? 0 to 5. Let us see what it prints. So it extracted hello. If you want to include this character as well, then you have to go up to 6, right? So it has also extracted hello and with the comma. This is how you can basically slice a string. Okay, and for example, if you want to only test, then you can do like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a 7th character. Then 8, 9, 10, 11. See, it extracted test. This is how you can basically slice the string using the indexes. So if you want to find a length of a string, you can use the function len, and you have to pass a parameter as a string. You can use this function to calculate the length of a string, and if you want to print that, you can put it into the print statement. The length of the string is 18 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Total 18 characters. This basically gives the length of a string. Okay. So in terms of an indexing, if you want to print the last character, then it will be 17, because always indexing starts from 0, then the last character will be length -1. Okay, so if you want to print s of, so you can basically put s of length of s -1, that is 18 -1, 17. We can basically put inside the print statement, right? That is the last character. If you put -2, that will be p. Okay, this is how we can also make use of the string length. Okay, combining the strings, okay, or string concatenation. Okay, so in programming term you call concatenation, that means combining these two strings. So for example, if you have a two string and if you want to join them and print, then you can basically use it string 1 plus string 2. Okay, let us try to use this. I have a two string and I want to join them. And if you see, if I put like this, it gave me an error. That is because the Python is highly indentation oriented language. So if you miss the indentation, it will basically throw an syntax error. So you'll have to follow that guideline. I will take s equal to s plus, sorry, str1 plus str2. Okay, that is hello and word. And if we want, so there is a space, yeah, there is a space here, and then I can do a print of yes, it should print me hello world. That is because it is combining the two string. You can basically concatenate two string using the plus operator here. Okay, similarly, if you want to print yes 3 times, then you can do print yes multiplied by 3 times. That is called repetition, right? Repetition. If I want to 2 times, then if I give s multiplied by 2, it will print hello world 2 times. You see, it printed hello world 2 times. And if I give 3, it repeats for 3 times. So the plus operator is for combining the strings. The multiplication of character is for repetition of the strings. Now let us try to understand the string modification, maybe like converting the case from uppercase, lowercase, title case, capitalize, and the swap case. All these things basically you can try. Okay, let us try this one. So I have a string here which is hello world, and if I want everything in an uppercase, so you can use yes dot, then you can get the list of functions that are supported by a string. Okay, and there is also another function, important function called as dir, and dir function lists all the functionalities that are associated with the string class. So let us try to print that. And you see, it gives all the functionalities that is basically exposed by string. For example, yeah, the length, then size of, then see count, then let us say is there any function called upper, swap case, see swap case, upper, all these things, right? These are all the functions. This basically the dir provides all the functions that is exposed by this particular class. Basically the the class properties, right? So when we try to understand, when I try to teach you about the classes, then you also come to know what basically class contains. It's a combination of the methods and the variables. It is basically in variables and the methods that acts upon these variables. Okay, so this is very important function, dir function. In case if you want to understand what are the functionalities that is exposed by a given object, then basically you can use the dir function. Okay, so now let us use I already have an s, so then if you want to make it as an upper, you can use s upper function and you can print it. So Python, this particular IDE supports the code completion. That means as soon as I put yes and dot, it lists me all the functions that is exposed by this particular object. Okay, that is the specialty of some of the IDs, and I will try to print all these characters in an uppercase. Similarly, you can use the lower to convert all the characters into lowercase. And again, there is something called swap case. That means wherever there is a capital, it converts into the smaller letter, and wherever there is a smaller letter, it try to convert into capital. So pass is S and try to execute this. Sorry, it's my mistake. Yeah, so it is not, it doesn't take any parameter. It was my mistake. You see, wherever H was a capital here, it printed small letter, and wherever it was small letter, it has printed the capital letter. This is how some of the string manipulations we can perform using the functions, upper, lower, swap case and things like that. Replace function. If you want to replace a particular character or a set of character in a string, you can use the replace function. Okay, it takes two parameters. The first one is a string itself. The first one is what to replace with what. For example, if you want to replace in an hello world with something else, then the world you can give it here, and whatever you wanted to replace, you can give it as a second parameter. Let us go and try this. Here we have hello world, and instead of world, I wanted to replace world with Python. Okay, so what I can do is I can use s dot replace, and the first parameter is world. This I want to replace. I have to give it in double quotes, and the second parameter with space Python. Right, it is a old one and this is the new one. Okay, so hope it works. Let us try. You see, hello Python. So it basically replaced in a string, it basically replaced the world with Python. Okay, that is about replace function. Splitting. You can split the entire string based on a particular character using the function called split. Let us try to do this, and I'll take out this. I'll also take out this, and I will copy I have s as an hello Python, and I want to split this string based on the comma. Okay, so then I can do then multiple words, right? I can put it as words equals to s dot split based on the character. The character is comma. You will have to pass comma as a character. Then I can print word. Word will be basically an array, and you can also, if you want, you can also try printing the type of word. It is basically a list, right? Type of words, and try to execute it. The first, it should print the type of the words. It should be a list, and after that it should print the content of words. So this is basically a list. List contains the two elements hello and Python. If you want to print only hello, then you can print using the index 0. This is also how how the elements are stored in a list is also based on the index. The index 0 contains a string hello, index 1 contains Python. So it print only hello. Okay, this is how basically you can split a string based on a particular character. And if you want to split hello world with the space, you can basically give a space here, and you see here it again printed hello. Okay, this is how basically split works. And you can also join the splitted words. For example, if you want to reconstruct back hello world, then you can use the function called join. I think again we can use s equal to something like this. Then you can use a join, then you can give words. And if you want to join the two strings based on the particular character, you can specify the character here. Okay, now I will remove this. Now I will try to print yes here. Okay, what we are trying to do, we are trying to split the entire hello Python into words based on the space, and then we're trying to combine again with a comma. Okay, combine these words into a comma. So if you want to print words, you can print words. This will be a list, and then you are combining the list into the individual string. Okay, single string. See, first it got hello and Python, then it combined the two elements of a list into the single word with the separator as comma. And you can also change a separator. For example, you can also give a space here, space, and you can also give a tab which is 4 spaces, like just pressing a tab. The tab you can give it as /t. See here there are multiple spaces, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. And you can also give a new line which is a /n. It prints in 2 different lines. Okay, this is how you can split and then you can join. You can also do certain kind of verification, like you can check whether a particular string starts with hello, particular string ends with some character, or if a string contains a particular character, and things like that. Okay, if you want, you can also experiment this. Let us go back here and let's remove all of this, and let us check print yes. What was that? S starts with, right? Yeah, S starts. It starts with hello or H, capital H. Okay, it should be true. If it is passed, then it should be true. But it is true. Let us check with H. It is case sensitive. Comparison is case sensitive. It should give us false. Okay, and similarly you can also try with ends with, then you can give it as n. It is true. And if I want to try with capital N, this is false. So this is basically case sensitive kind of a comparison. If you remember, during the typecasting we were converting a string into an integer, right? And certain cases it was throwing us a value error. If the string contains a character other than the numbers, then it is to throw an error. In order to avoid that, what we can do a kind of a check if a given the string is a digit or not. If it is a digit, then you can convert them into integer or a float. Okay, for example, let us try this. Let us try this example. So these are all basically used for comparison. Is alpha is for the alphabetical, is digit for digit, and is a number. It is basically it contains a number or not. If a string contains a number or not. Okay. So let us try to execute this, and okay, here what I will do is print yes dot is number. There is no number, right? It is a pure string, pure sequence of characters, right? So it should give me a false. Okay, and instead of this, if I make it as 1 2 3 4 5, then it is true. I can also put a point here, and it also should be a true, or it is giving it as a false. Okay, so that means it is comparing only the integer, it is not taking any other character. And then is there any function called sorry, I was checking for a number. I should have checked for is digit. Sorry, is digit. Then 1 2 3 4 5, it should be true. If I insert something here, it is a false, because there is another function for that, is decimal or something, is decimal. Now it should be true. Is decimal. If a string is a decimal string, yeah, this is a decimal string. Okay, let us remove this. It is true. Then if I put 0.0, it's giving us false. So let me come back on this. I have to really check on this. That is basically how you can use these functions for checking whether a given string is only the alphabets, or it contains a digit, or alphanumerical, and things like that. You can also use a function called find that will find the index or the occurrence of the first character in a string. Okay, and if it finds this particular string within a big string, then it returns the first character, first occurrence of this particular string. If it cannot find it, it returns a -1. Okay, for example, let us go and try this. Okay, I will remove this function. I will put it as hello Python. Okay, then I wanted to check whether it contains a character L. L occurs at 0 1 2 as well as at 3. Okay, so let us see what it prints. If I try to print yes dot find a character L, I think it should print 0 1 2, because it always print the first occurrence. You see, it always prints the first occurrence. And you can also give a single character, or you can also give multi-character, but you will have to enclose them within a quotes. For example, py, it basically gives an index where it finds p, right? So it's a 6, 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. This is how basically the find function works. Now let us try to understand how you can print a string in a formatted way. Okay, for example, if you have the two variables, for example, the name is and Alice and age is 25, and if you want to combine them and print it, and you can use something like this: print my name is, then you give a space and flower bracket, and then you can give the other sentence, and I am, you can give a flower bracket, and year old. Okay, then you can put dot operator and give a format. Then you can pass the parameter as name and age. Then these two the variables are get substituted to the occurrence of the flower bracket. Here the first occurrence is name, then it says my name is Alice. Okay, the value is stored in the name. Then I am, it will be replaced with the age. Age is here 25. I am 25 years old. Okay, this is the one way of doing it, or otherwise you can also use like F here. So after print give F, then within double quotes you can give whatever you want to give, and wherever you want to replace a value of a variable, you will have to put them into the flower bracket. Okay, let us basically go and try this. The same example we can try this. I will put name as test troop and age is equal to, yeah, I will give it as 25. Then I will try to print using a format, print my name is, then flower bracket, give a space, and my age is, then you have to put a dot and give it as format. In the format you have to pass the parameters. Since you are using two brackets here, you will have to use the two values, two variables here. Okay, these are the arguments. Okay, so if you are using single, then you will have to pass a single variable. If you are using the two flower bracket, then you will have to use the two variables. Okay, it is dynamically checking the arguments. Okay, so let us try to do this. Let us try to execute this. See, my name is Testro and my age is 25. Okay, similarly you can also use another way of printing is formatting is print, then you will have to start with the F, then you have to use a double quotes, and you can copy from here and you can paste it, and wherever you have the flower bracket, then you have to substitute that with the variables. Sorry, here name, then here age. Okay, let us comment this. Commenting is using the hash here. Okay, you can comment this statement, and you see my name is Testro and my age is 25. This is a way we can print a string in a formatted way. Now the escape characters, certain characters you cannot directly print. For example, if you want to print a double quotes within a double quotes, then you cannot directly use a double quotes. Instead of that, you will have to escape that particular characters, that you can be used using this particular slash. Okay, and if you want to print a new line in between, you can use /n. If you want to bring a tab space, you can use /t. Okay, let us try to print. Let us try to use the same example, and I want to print my name in the double quotes. Okay, for that what I have to do, I directly cannot give something like this. Okay, that will throw an error. As soon as I put that, you see here it gave me a syntax error. Okay, in order to do that, I will have to escape this double quotes. For that you have to use a backslash with the double quotes. Here also backslash with the double quotes. Okay, let us try to execute this now. The test troop should come in double quotes. Yeah, see here you can see the test troop in double quotes. This is how basically you can escape the particular character. If you want to print a test troop and age in two different lines, then you can use escape character by name /n. I want to print after and I want to print my age in the next line. For that I can use a new line. New line is /n. Okay. See here, after and it printed in a new line. Okay. If I want to increase the number of spaces in between and my age, you can use a tab space as /t. /t basically gives a tab space. See here, there is a space that is introduced. There are a lot of characters that can be used as an escape character. These double quotes, then the sometimes single quotes, the tab space, new line, the backspace, and things like that. So you can go to Google and try to see what are the escape the characters. You can basically find it out. Suppose if you want to reverse a string, you can use the indexing, that is the colon and you can put -1. This basically reverse the entire string. Let us try to do that. What I will do is I will remove all of this. I will only keep a name, and if I want to reverse this, I will have to type print then a name with square bracket colon -1. This basically will reverse the string. See, it reverses the string. Okay, POORT, then TSET. So this is how you can basically reverse the string. That brings us to the end of this session. In this session, we explored variables, data types, typecasting, and some of the string operation in Python. I hope you enjoyed learning with me. If you found this helpful, please like the video and subscribe to my channel for more exciting content. Thank you for watching.